Hello and welcome to Dad and Swebb Talk Sports. I'm Swebb,
And I'm Dad.
and we are the dad and daughter duo talking about all of our favorite sports moments. Dad, welcome back.
I've been here all along, Swebb. I've been
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
I've been sitting in this computer, welcome for you, waiting for you to show up, Swebb.
Some
Welcome
of us
back.
have lives. Some of us have lives.
Swebb, how's it going?
I'm good. All things considered, I am good. We are recording, of course, on a Sunday afternoon, week 2 of the NFL season. I just finished watching the Jets get shellacked by the Buffalo Bills 30-10. But before we jump into sports, it's been a few months since we've recorded an episode. Figured we'd let people know what we've been up to. So, Dad, what have you been up to besides waiting for me?
Working, going to high school football games down here. I've gone to I think 3 high school football games down here. That's pretty much it, Swebb.
And how does the high school football compare to that of Long Island's high school football?
Much, much better. Mu- Much better. Now I know where a lot of these teams that you watch on Saturday afternoons get their players from. I mean, the running backs can run, the quarterbacks can throw the ball down the field. Everybody has field goal kickers that can actually kick 35, 40-yard field goals.
So they can
Um,
actually play the game.
they can play the game, and the running backs can run. And when I say run, they can run and they can move. I didn't see many players. I can count on two or
One
three hand,
hand.
one
One
hand,
hand.
a few players that I saw over the years, the decades, that running backs, and two of them, uh, Stephen Davis and Charles Hall, that could run and move
From
and
Long Island.
from Long Island. Those are the two that I saw.
So
I
it's
didn't
like a
see many.
completely different level.
It's totally different level. And now I see why you turn on your TV on a Saturday and you watch these games and you hear this guy's from this place, this little town in South Carolina, this little town in Georgia, Louisiana, Florida, Texas, Oklahoma. These are the kind of players.
And how are the marching bands?
Marching bands are incredible.
Better than Long Island?
It's like a college marching band. And they have all the equipment. It takes them 10 minutes just to set up for the halftime show.
Now
They have
you've
some
made
they take
Roland and I be in the marching band, and now you're saying that we were not up to the standards
well,
of the South.
you were in the standards of Long Island, but you got a little culture. It was good for you. It was good for you. You can't be around athletes all the time and scholars
And
all the time.
because I was in the marching band, that means you had to go to all the football games. See what you did?
I didn't mind that. That's where I could. I'm always looking for talent, Swebb.
And
And
how much talent did you find on the fields of?
I found some good talent. Do you remember you were down here about a month ago? We went to that cafe. We went to one place to get something to eat for breakfast one day, and it was packed. So you looked on your phone and you found this other place that I'd never heard of on a little side street.
Mm-hmm.
So guess what? We went there, and what did the kid behind the counter say? Oh, how tall are you? And you told him, and he was tall, and he said he was 6'6", and he was a football team. So I told him I'd come and see him play on Friday night. So guess what? I went and saw him play, and he's an offensive lineman. He's 6'6", 230. So good player. But if he wants to be a player in college, a 230-pound offensive lineman isn't cutting it. He'd have to bulk up to 290 or 300.
Well, what
So
grade is he in?
he's in 10th grade.
Okay.
Okay. So I went back the following Saturday and I spoke to him. And I said, you could be a college player. I'm not dedicated enough. I said, no. So I gave him, massaged him up a little bit. You know how I do it, Swebb. And I went and I said, I'm going to come and see you play again Friday night. Went and saw him play. Then I went back the following Saturday. I'm spending a fortune at this place.
This is your new favorite spot.
Well, he's my I'm
Your
working on it.
protege.
I'm trying. So I went back and I said, you know what? You're 6'6", 230. You know what? You know what I can envision you? I can envision you being a tight end at Clemson or South Carolina. And what did he tell me? That's my dream. So the prior week, he said he wasn't interested in playing college football, and he said that he didn't think he was dedicated enough. After a little massage work on this guy, a week later, he's telling me that's his dream to play college football, tight end. I said, you know what position you'd be great at? He said tight end. And I said, you're right. At 6'6", 230, you put on another 10 pounds, you'd be perfect. And I saw him running on and off the field. He has a lot of speed.
Oh, he's got good foot
Yeah,
speed.
he's got
Okay.
speed.
Okay.
So all of a sudden, so I went back again yesterday, and his mother
To the
said
cafe.
to the cafe to talk
So this
about
is like your fourth time.
this Friday night's game, last Friday night's game, and he played good. And his mother says, my son really loves you. You take such an interest in him. I said, that's what I do. It's a cafe. The mom works behind the counter. He works behind the counter, and the father's in the kitchen
They make a
baking and
pretty good
cooking.
breakfast sandwich.
Yeah, and
Good coffee.
they bake good cakes and stuff too. They do
Oh, just
everything
what
right
you
there.
need.
Swebb.
Now you're taking a vested interest in the kid, and all of a sudden they bake good cakes.
And the parents aren't really into sport. They come from a different country, the Balkans. So they're not that familiar with this stuff, but they're very strict on discipline and so forth. And he only works at the restaurant on Saturdays and Sundays because he's in school the rest of the week and at practice the rest of the week.
So who knows what's going to happen here, but maybe he has a great season. And I introduced you to that cafe. If you were
Yes,
a
you did.
sports agent, you could sign him and start making a cut of any NIL money he's
Well, I'm
making.
not
And
interested in making money off the kid. 2 more years. He still has 2 more years after this in high school, and he's the nicest kid you're ever going to want to meet.
he is very nice. The one time I met him.
Yep.
Okay. What else have you been up to besides high school football games and going to the same cafe every Saturday?
Yankees, Jets, Michigan,
You went
Michigan
to a
football.
Yankee. You went to a few Yankee games, didn't you?
We went down to Miami and saw the Yankees play or get played.
And what happened?
They lost 3 games down there.
And you went to how many games?
3 games.
So you went to 3 games and they lost 3 games.
Right.
Okay. And so now they've banned you from all future games. I've banned you from all future games.
Yeah, right. I won't be going to any more games this year.
Good. Listen, don't go to any games of the teams that I root for. If you want to go to, some high school games in South Carolina, fine. But you're staying away from the Miami Hurricanes and the New York Knicks and the Yankees. You can go to Jets games because they're already junk after game 2. And
They're not junk.
okay.
They are improved.
We'll talk about them. All right. Anything else that you want to tell people you've been up to?
No, that's it.
Have you been exercising?
Huh?
Doing a few laps around the block? Losing weight?
Well, listen, when I was down in Miami, did a lot of walking in and out
You
of
were
that
there for
park.
one weekend, Dad. And that was 2 months ago.
There was still a lot of walking, Swim.
And I heard about that. So,
Yeah,
didn't go well for you. Do you want to ask me what I've been up to? Or
What
are
do you?
we just...
I've seen your Instagram page. I've seen you seems like you're like a little social butterfly.
Yeah, I am. The past 2 months, well, I called it my season of rest because I got a new job over the past 6 weeks. I've started a new job. But prior to that, my previous job, we were kind of in a bit of transition, not a lot of work to be done. And they just said, act busy. So, at first it was weird. I'm like, this feels a little weird for me to be doing this. And then as the summer rolled in, the weather got nicer, and I had access to a beach house. I said, well, see you later. So I spent 3 weeks at the beach in Fire Island, and that was lovely. Got nice and crispy, then. I think we did have one episode over the summer just to kind of do a check in, and I was pretty crispy during that episode. What else have I done? Watched some games here and there. Spent some time in the city. I'm trying to think any other travel that I've done. We went to Spain and Mexico earlier in the spring. Came down to Charleston. Spent time with you guys. Um, so yeah, it's been a good summer. Just spent some time with some friends last night. I'm social. Went on a few dates
How comes I didn't hear about that?
because he's not my future husband. You'll know when it's my future husband. It's tough out here, New York City. Um, but at least he likes sports. That was one thing. Didn't like the right teams. He was a Tampa Bay Rays fan and a Pittsburgh Steelers. Liked the Knicks. He asked me if I wanted to go to a Mets game. He asked if I was a Mets fan, and I said I am absolutely not a Mets fan. But ultimately, he wasn't the right person, not because he didn't root for the right teams, but because he didn't go to church. Okay,
Okay.
so so that's a good reason, isn't it, Dad?
Yes. Be careful who you who you introduce me to. Okay, Swebb.
Yeah, I'm not introducing you to anyone who's not worth introducing.
Okay.
So I've been spending a lot of time at church. Been I work with the kids at church, so I am usually for the past couple of months I've been in nursery. Sometimes I work with the elementary students. It's a little bit more like a Sunday school session. I've been working with the nursery kids, so that has been fun. They like to run around like wild kids at the church, but
Oh, do they?
yes, they sure do. But it's been fun.
You have a niece that's a lot like that.
Yep, that's exactly.
A
Uh,
3-year-old niece that.
Picture her at church, and some of the kids bring toys from home. A lot of them are in the same homeschool um, co-op, I think they call it, or cohort. I don't know what they call it, but so they all do homeschool together, so they know each other really well. And a lot of their families have been coming to church for many years, so they know us very well and they know the church very well. A lot of boys in the families that come to church, and they love running around with swords. So they like running around with swords, poking them at everyone, and yeah. So a few shields. It's needless to say, Sunday afternoons I'm usually coming home, taking a shower, and taking a nap. So let's talk about some sports because I'm wearing my new University of Miami sweatshirt here. Now, the other day I was getting my nails done and I walked out to get a coffee afterwards and some girl was wearing a Miami sweatshirt too and we both did that look. We just looked at each other like no words spoken, just, that the exchange. It's like when you wear a Yankee hat back in the 90s and it was just, just tip it. When I was wearing my Knicks hat during the playoff run last year, same thing. So let's start with some college football
Let's
because
do it.
it brings me great joy to say that the Miami Hurricanes are the number 5 team in the country, 3-0 after beating the number 18 team in the country, South Florida, by what was the score 49-12 on Saturday. They will now go into next week. College game day will be down on at campus
Oh,
in
really?
Coral Gables. They
Oh,
play Florida at home. The Florida Gators. Now the Florida Gators are not that good, but it is an old time rivalry. But the thing that I'm most excited about, they of course started the season beating Notre Dame. They have a defense. Offense wasn't their problem last year. They had the Heisman Trophy winner. But this year, they have a defense. So, I'm feeling really good about my Canes, bringing great joy to my life.
you have a defense and you have a quarterback that can make all the throws, and you have a bunch of playmakers. Some of them are young. Some of these guys are freshmen, and it's amazing. See, this is what I'm watching down here on the high school football fields, and then you say, "Man, that kid's a freshman. How's he doing this?" Come down in the South and watch some of these high school players. It's
Now,
unbelievable.
Of course, last year at this time of the season, I was very excited because Miami had also started the season very strong. But this year, the difference is they're able, now they've only played 3 games. One game is a complete, Bethune Cookman is no competition. You're supposed to blow out teams like that.
Right.
But a lot of people were high on South Florida this past week because they had beat Florida, and they were ranked. And I was nervous for the game, and they end up completely blowing them out. So I was nervous for the Notre Dame game in week 1, and they were able to lock down Notre Dame on defense. So the things that I didn't see last year, which was them being able to stop a team when they needed to, they did against Notre Dame. They certainly did against South Florida. And they're looking good. I think Florida, you never want to count the Florida Gators out, but they're not the typical strong team that they've been. So I feel like that could be a win next week. But I'm taking it week by week. Now let's talk about Michigan because they're 2-1, 23rd team in the country. Now they beat Central Michigan yesterday, 63-3, but last week they lost to Oklahoma in a very close one, and next week they'll be traveling to Nebraska. So, Dad, how are the Michigan Wolverines shaping up this season from what
Well,
you've
they're
seen?
they're playing with a freshman quarterback. He's 18. He just turned 18 3 weeks ago. Picture that. 3 weeks ago, he turned 18. He's a freshman, and he's playing well. The first game he played real well. The game yesterday against who they play Central Michigan, he played real well. The game against Oklahoma, he played okay. That was a game on the road against a real good team, and they're rounding into shape. They've had a lot of injuries on their offensive line, and we'll see what happens. As if their offensive line keeps coming along and gives him some time to do some stuff, he can run and he can throw.
Now, I saw a little bit of him screaming at teammates on the sideline. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's
The
not good. But
freshman
just remember,
quarterback.
he's 18 years old. He's a baby, so he got frustrated on the yeah, because somebody must have been telling him what to do, and he screamed, "I'm the quarterback here! I'm the quarterback here!" Dude, you're 18. Relax.
You're a freshman. I don't care how much NIL money you make. That bank account will go way down if you don't win games, my friend.
Well, he got $10 million in his and this is crazy.
And now his head is in the clouds.
But he's real
See what
good.
happens here?
He's a good teammate. Well,
Okay.
hey, you don't have to tell me about this
Look,
NIL money. Ask Arch Manning about the NIL
yeah,
money.
let's Arch Manning. The hype around this kid, part of the Manning family of quarterbacks, a long lineage of Hall of Fame football players. And I watched this game against Ohio State, and I'm like, what were we even talking about here? And it's not like each week he's gotten a little bit better. Of course, when you're playing the defending national champions, that was a tough game. That was an ugly game anyway.
On the
But
road.
I mean, they're not exactly blowing teams out, and he looks like an average Joe.
He sat on the bench for 2 years at Texas.
And we were
He's,
wondering what was happening. He was the second coming. When is he going to get into the game? Play him.
and he
And
got typed up too much. And he's been on so many commercials and he's made so much money. It's just, they could have gotten him in some action. And he only got into games when it was a blowout, when the starting quarterback got hurt against some very weak teams. And then before the season started this summer, they're saying that he's going to be a Heisman Trophy, the leading candidate for the Heisman Trophy. How do you say that for a guy that never played before?
by name only.
What happened to that kid was very unfair. Okay,
Of course, it's not his fault. He's a kid, but it's just like the hype around him because he's a Manning. It's like we got Instagram versus reality, Timu versus an actual reputable retailer. We got the Timu version of the Mannings. Okay, let's talk NFL because We're a few weeks early into my Jets fandom progression. You know, week one, they play the Steelers at home. It's a great game. Tons of offense. Justin Fields looks great. It's like, yes, we've got a quarterback. This offense is great. They lose the game. What was it, like 42-40, or they lost the game by 2 points after missing
And they would
two
have
two
won that
point
game if
conversions.
it wasn't for that. Well, they lost on a 60-yard field goal, and if it wasn't for that dopey fumble on the kickoff return, which turned the whole game around.
They blew the
That's
game. They were leading most of the game,
right.
and
They were in
yes,
total control of the game.
yes, blew the game. And you start to get nervous looking at the schedule just from that one game, because now it's like, okay, now they're going to have to go. This week they play the Bills. Next week they play Tampa. You blow a game that you should have won, which is going to happen at some points in the season, but not the way that you want to start the season. And I turn on the game today. They had about 18 yards of offense through 2.5 quarters. And I decided to get into the horizontal position on my couch, turn down the volume a little bit, still had the game on, but if my eyes closed, I wasn't going to be upset about it. And so that's typically what I would do around week 4 or week 5. I did it week 2. The Jets went on to lose that game 30-10. And they've got problems.
Well, let's. They Pittsburgh has a decent team. We'll see how good they wound up being. The Jets should have.
Mind you, that was a Pittsburgh team quarterbacked by Old Man River himself, Aaron Rodgers, who's about 45.
Yeah, but he's still good. Okay, and if you give him some protection, more than what he got with the Jets. Listen, he didn't play all that bad with the Jets last year. He threw for 3,800 yards.
I'm not saying
Okay,
he's bad.
but we
I'm
don't have to get
saying
into all that yet.
he's old as dirt.
Okay,
But go ahead.
so they should have won last week. They make a dopey mistake, and you see this coach cut that guy that made that mistake, because the reason why he fumbled, he was carrying the ball in the wrong hand when a tackler approached, when he should have switched to the left hand. So he gets thrown out. Okay, this guy is not playing games. Okay, so now they come with Buffalo. I think Buffalo is the best team in the whole league right now. And I think Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the whole league. I think he's wrestled that title away. Talk about a team that's just made little mistakes here and there. That's the only reason why they haven't gotten to some Super Bowls in the last few years. Okay? But who knows? They seem like they have more weapons now, more receivers, a better running back situation. I think they're the best team in the whole league. And I think Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the whole league.
It was
Okay.
one of those
So getting
things
blown
where
out by them isn't the worst thing. And remember, the Jets are rebuilding. They're putting up, they cleared the lot. They're putting in a foundation. That's what they're doing. That's why that kid got cut from the team after he fumbled. They're putting in a foundation. We can't expect them. I'm not expecting much. We talked about this the last time we spoke.
I'm not expecting them to go to the AFC Championship game. It's just one of those things where they couldn't get their offense going. Their defense was playing phenomenal. But then their defense is now on the field for longer periods of time. The Bills are able to make a few things happen, convert on some third downs. Next thing you know, the game goes from 13-0 to 20-0 to, ultimately 30-10. So it's just a frustrating game to watch. And of course, Tony Romo and Jim Nantz are like, oh, and the Jets had the chance to draft Josh Allen in 2018.
I remember that.
They passed him up. And it's like, not now. I don't need to hear that now.
Yeah, I remember that.
Thanks, guys.
And they drafted Sam Donald, okay? And they gave him a chance for 3 years, and they let him go, or they traded him. And then he wound up on like 2 other teams. Then last year he finds his way to Minnesota, and he makes the Pro Bowl and leads them to the playoffs. Okay. They drafted. Then they go on and they get who did they get? Um,
They got the guy from Florida State who ended up,
no, well that guy. No, he was
yeah.
a late pick, but the high pick there. The kid from Brigham Young,
Oh, Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson, and they gave him a chance for 3 years, and then they traded him. Okay. Now he's on the bench. He's the backup with the Dolphins. You watch him get a chance to play and watch him do something good there. Or maybe he see the problem is they put these guys on the field too soon. Okay, look at the Giants. All week, everybody in New York got to get you got to put Jack Starth on the field. You got to put the rookie on the field
Jackson Dart.
who looked tremendous in preseason, but that was preseason. Looked tremendous in college, but that was college. So they wanted um,
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson out. Okay, what does Russell Wilson do today? He threw for 450 yards. He was 30 of 44, 450 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Is that all?
Yeah, that's it. 450 yards. And now they lost in overtime. They just lost in overtime to the Cowboys. But he put 37 points on the board.
It wasn't his fault.
Okay. And now this coach the Giants have, he's the one that developed Josh Allen in Buffalo. He knows how to develop quarterbacks. He says, not yet. Not yet. They're still working with him. You don't want to put these young quarterbacks on the field and then they develop poor habits because the team stinks around them and then you lose the guy.
I just want to have a team that I can get excited about in the months of November and December on a Sunday after church. I want to be able to skip home from church, not because I've just received a great word from my pastor, but because I've got some good football to watch, okay? I don't want to be coming home and as much as I love to nap, just like, all right, let's do this thing. Let's buckle in. Let's watch this debacle. I want a team that I can be excited about on Sundays. I now have a team I can be excited about on Saturdays. I need my team to be good on Sundays. Okay? So let's talk baseball before we wrap things up.
Let's do it.
Because it's the middle of September already. That went fast. My season of rest is over.
Season of
It's
rest.
the middle of September.
You rest more in a week than I rest in a year.
And that's why I look as young as I do, Dad. You know this better than anyone. I'm actually 107. But I look like a sprightly 32.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? Sprightly. It's all about resting and
Right.
drinking water and exercising.
Oh.
You should try the last two.
I've
I know
been,
you rest.
I've been drinking a lot of water lately.
Okay, good. All right. MLB season. It's going to be a wild ride these next couple of weeks because it is a very evenly spread league, both in the American League and the National League. There's one team, the Milwaukee Brewers, that have clinched their playoff spot that has a record above 600. Everyone else is just run of the mill. So the Yankees, it's like it's like a really sick relationship because you go through. A few weeks ago, they lost to the Red Sox at home.
They did.
Then they go on
got
this
swept.
Yeah.
They did more than lose.
They got swept like Dad was at all the games. Then they go on this win streak, And then they have a few games where it's like they're inching up closer and closer to Toronto. They're inching up on that wild card spot. Now the Yankees are 3 games back of the Toronto Blue Jays for the AL East title. They're the top spot in the wild card for the American League. They're, I think, like 2.5 games up on the next team. So it's very close. There's about 5 6 teams that are 2 to 5 game spread here for those wild card spots. Now they're playing the Red Sox in Boston, and they play tonight. We'll be done recording by then on Sunday night, but they've won the first 2 games and games that they needed to win. And Max Fried had a great start on Saturday. They look good. Jazz Chisholm has had a great season since coming off the injured list. Aaron Judge is back hitting home runs. It's just
Bellinger.
Bellinger has played great all season. They've sat Anthony Volpe. They say he's got a labrum issue, but let's be honest,
He's got a torn labrum.
He's
played
he had
4 months
issues.
with a torn labrum.
He had
After you
issues
guys,
before that.
all you guys have trashing this guy. He's played. I remember the game it happened. It was May 5th. He played 4.5 months with a partially torn labrum.
Listen,
Okay, you can't.
at what point, and we texted about this
They didn't have
week,
any other options.
at what point is it when his batting average dips below 200 or is right around 200, or is it after the 27th Chuck Knobloch throw into the first base
Well,
stands
but now
that
we
you
know
decide that we maybe shouldn't play the guy?
Well,
Now
now
they made some acquisitions during the trade deadline. They picked up Caballero. They picked up the guy from
Rosario.
Colorado that's playing third base.
Yeah.
They were also still trying to ride Anthony Volpe after they got these guys.
Because
Until
Caballero.
Caballero pops off quite a bit, gets thrown
Pops
out
off.
again.
Yeah, gets thrown out of games in crucial situations. That's
But-
number one. Number one, and he's never been a starter, and he's
But
a
at least
great
he's
backup
not
player.
throwing the ball into the stands to the
Okay.
guy selling popcorn every time on a routine ground ball. So, listen, the Yankees look good. The bottom line is the Yankees look good right now. They play Boston tonight, Sunday night. Then they'll go into the week at Minnesota and at Baltimore. Their schedule is pretty favorable for them to go on a nice run and see what happens. Now, I'd love to win the AL East, even though they're 3 games back of Toronto, mainly because this wild card, you never know what could happen. Anything could happen in a wild card situation. But they look good
right now.
right now.
But you know what? Outside of, do you remember the first 3 games of the year? Milwaukee came to Yankee Stadium. The Yankees killed them in all 3 games. They looked like the worst
That was
team
a
in the
different
world.
time.
Milwaukee, okay? And since then, they've been the most consistent and the best team in baseball, okay? And they do it totally different than anybody else. They don't hit a lot of home runs. They have young players. If you look at their roster, you don't even, outside of 2 or 3 guys, never heard of these guys. They steal a lot of bases. They have excellent pitching, starting and relieving. The Yankee problem this year has been their bullpen. That's been their problem. They have 83 wins right now. Their bullpen must have blown 15 games. Games that in the past, over the years, we weren't used to blowing because you had a legitimate. And then they went out the trade deadline and picked up 3 guys, 3 relievers that were excellent in the National League. And that's when I was in Miami. That first night when they were winning by like 10 runs or something. And they, one by one, they came into the game with like matches and kerosene a can and set the whole place on fire. It was, nobody could believe it. It was all Yankee fans in that place down there in Miami. We couldn't believe it. We're looking at each other like, what's this? What is this, some kind of joke or something?
It's not just games in where they've actually blown a save statistically. They've also blown games wide open where the Yankees were maybe down by a run after the starter. Like the other day, Rodon pitches 6 good innings.
Right.
the Yankees I think we're only down by one at the point, and
That
then
happened twice last week.
next thing I know, they've given up 10 runs. So
That happened to
it,
Detroit, against Detroit twice last week.
that's not considered a blown save because they came in with the Yankees losing, but there have been many games like that as well. So,
Yeah.
listen, they're good right now, and that's
But
all we
guess
can hope
what?
for.
Every team has been like that. Every team has had long losing streaks and long winning streaks. Detroit has had long losing streaks. The Dodgers have had long losing streaks. The Mets just won their game a few minutes ago.
And
They've
they were
had
just on an 8-game losing
They
streak.
were on an 8-game losing streak. All these teams have been up and down, up and down. And you notice the thing that's common with all these losing streaks? It's when these teams have these injuries to their starters, their starting pitching, and their bullpen, and you have to start plugging guys in, and your starter just gives you 4 innings or 3 innings or 5 innings, and you wear out your bullpen. You wear out your bullpen night after night after night. That's how you lose these games. All these teams have the same problems.
I'm not sure my heart can take this Yankee team in the playoffs because they make me want to throw my remote into the screen. Then I'm happy. Then it's like, oh, we just beat the Red Sox twice after getting blown out by the Detroit Tigers, getting blown out to Staten Island by the Detroit Tigers. I don't know if my heart can take this team in the playoffs. I'll ride the wave, but it is we're just taking it day by day. That's all we can do.
That's what sports is all about, Swebb.
It's a sick game, folks, but we love it anyway. Okay. Now, Dad, what are you looking forward to this week? What's going on in your life?
Um. Oh, I just got a text that your niece's lacrosse season's getting ready to go. The fall lacrosse season. So I'll be at some games. I even go to the practices because it's right down here at the high school. So I'll go to some practices. There's one on Thursday at 5:30. So I'll shoot over there for practice. And your nephew had a little league baseball game yesterday morning. So I went to that. I'm looking for talents, Webb. 5-year-old baseball talent.
And we got some work to do there, but it's still
No,
early.
he's swinging a hot bat right now.
Swinging a hot that way. I'm gonna have to get him on the track, working on his foot speed and his running
Hey, if he
mechanics.
the way with as big as he's going to be and his strength, if he can hit the ball a long way, I'm not worried about how
We need
fast
some
he runs.
agility. We need to work on the agility.
Look at
Now,
Stanton. He barely
yeah,
runs, and he hit the ball 500 feet.
he used to be able to run.
Yeah,
He's now in his like late 30s. So
right.
when he was Mike Stanton, he was running. So let's not
Mike
forget.
Stanton.
That was his original. His name is Giancarlo, but he used to, when he first came up, he was Mike Stanton.
Oh,
And
really?
then he wanted to go back to his
I didn't know
birth
that.
name, and then he started going by Giancarlo. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to. The weather has been fantastic here in New York. Been getting in some good runs in Central Park. Um, I've also this new job has got me going into Times Square, which I don't look forward to, but the actual work is exciting. So there's some fun things that I'll share in future episodes. And women's college volleyball. There's been a lot of it on TV. It has been fun to watch competitive matches, some really good matchups between some of the top teams in the country and these non-conference weeks before conference play starts. I'm looking forward to watching more of that. I actually have been recording a few matches just because I'm trying to watch the Jets. A few weeks ago, it was like I was trying to watch tennis. There's a lot going on.
I watched Nebraska a few weeks ago. Incredible. I taped one of their
Nebraska is a
games the other
complete
night. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet.
Nebraska is a complete team. I like what I see out of them. Texas is a young team, but they're scrappy. I've seen 2 or 3 matches where they pushed a match to 5 sets and came out victorious when they had no business winning at times. So they're a scrappy team. Yeah, there's some good teams out there, but so that's been exciting. I'll be watching that. And and just trying to enjoy this weather before I have to start putting on a jacket. And I'm looking forward to Saturdays. Saturdays are always great now that Miami's the number 5 team in the country. Saturdays are a beautiful day. Now, before we close things out, Dad, do you want to leave us with a dad tip of the week?
Um, hey, I've said it before, and I think it's more important now than ever. Look for young people you can encourage and help them get their heads screwed on right. There's a lot of great young people out here doing some great things. And there's some young people out here that are doing some horrible things. Look for somebody you can encourage, mentor, and say a good word to and encourage. Because, man, I'm telling you, this was a rough week. That's all I'm
I
going to say.
I second that. It's always good to sow into young people. It's one of the reasons that I'm in the kids ministry at church, because I truly believe in that, and that's something that I learned from you and Mom. Um, but look for anyone that you can encourage, and picking up coffee, the bus driver, anyone that you can encourage, because you never know what people are going through, and you can make a difference in someone's life more than you even realize. So I think that's some great advice. And that about does it this week. So thank you for joining us at Dad and Swebb Talk Sports. Be sure to follow us at Dad and Swebb on Instagram and X, and share this episode with a friend. And by the way, we didn't announce it, but Dad and I are launching something really fun this week. So be sure to follow us for more information on that. We will see you next week.
So long.
Thank you for tuning in to Dad and Swebb Talk Sports, the show where we cover all of our favorite sports moments from the past week. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and Rumble, and follow us at Dad and Swebb on Instagram and X. See you next week.